I have more time with you. Also, I found a second USB microphone, but unfortunately, it didn't work out as expected. So, I was planning for you to have a mic on a book and a mic in my hand, but I guess it's just a one mic then. Oh well, if things goes well, I'm sure Krishna will provide me with more lavalier. Now, let us read chapter 4. Kamsa begins his persecution. After Vasudeva adjusted things as they had been before he carried Krishna to Gokula, and all the doors and gate became similarly closed, the gatekeepers awoke and heard a newborn child crying. Kamsa was waiting to hear the news of the child's birth, and the gatekeepers immediately approached him and informed him that the child was born. At that time, Kamsa got up from bed and very quickly exclaimed, "Oh, my bad, I realized. Okay. So I got the wrong picture, but honestly, I couldn't find anything better than Kamsa being mad. So you know what? That's what we're gonna have. So we're at chapter 5 actually, not chapter 4. The meeting of Nanda and Vasudeva. Although Krishna was the real one, Vasudeva and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocity and atrocious activities. Okay, wait, let me restart this one. Although Krishna was the real son of Vasudeva and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocious activities, Vasudeva could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son. But Nanda Maharaj, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. Actually, okay, spoilers, so much spoilers. Hey, Janmashtami, that was actually the beginning of the month. And yes, those are people dressing up as Krishna, taking lots of bother. Look at this one though, I think it's AI. I hate AI drawing so much. It's okay if it used it as a bait. Sorry, this one sneaked up on me. So yay, Janmashtami. Cow. Krishna with a cow. Yay. Listen, there is no real party like a Vaishnav Janmashtami party. It is big. It is wild. It is generous. It is something, alright. Now, let's go back to, here we go. The next day, it was declared that a male child has been born to Yashoda. According to Vedic custom, Nanda Maharaj called for learned astrologers and brahmanas to perform the birth ceremony. After the birth of a child, the astrologers calculate the moment of birth and make a horoscope of the child's future life. Okay, so about that, I also had my horoscope done. Basically, our horoscope is just like when you're looking at the Weather Channel. It's not gonna tell you every single thing you do in your day, but it'll tell you where you struggle, where you succeed, where, it's just a guideline. But as Hare Krishna Some do have their done, like mine. Others like us grow it, which fair enough. Before the burial ceremony, the family members take baths, cleanse themselves, and decorate themselves with ornaments and nice garments. Then they come before the child and the astrologer to hear of the future life of the child. Nanda Maharaj and other members of the family dressed and sat down in front of the birthplace. All the brahmanas who were assembled there on this occasion chanted auspicious mantras according to the rituals, while the astrologers performed the birth ceremony. All the demigods are also worshipped on this occasion, as well as forefathers of the family. Nanda Maharaj distributed to the brahmanas 20,000 cows. Was it 2,000,000 cows, which were well decorated with cloths and ornament. Okay, so this is culture. This is how you celebrate the birth. Now you don't have to be as like Nanda Maharaj because he was super opulent, but that's better than just going in a hospital where people die too. But hey, you do you. But it'd be awesome to see more and more Vedic custom. So he gave the brahmanas not only cows and charity, but also hills of grain decorated with ornaments and golden bordered cloth. In the material world, we possess riches and wealth in many ways, but sometimes not in very honest and pious way, because that is the nature of accumulating wealth. According to Vedic injunction, therefore, one should purify such wealth by giving cows and gold and charity to the brahmanas. Hint, hint. A newborn child is also purified by gift of grains and charity to the brahmanas. In this material world, it is to be understood that we are always living in a contaminated state. We therefore have to purify the duration of our lives, our possession of wealth, and ourselves. We can purify our duration of life by taking daily bath and cleansing the body inside and outside, and accepting the 10 kinds of purificatory process, by austerities, by worship of the Lord, and by distribution of charity. We can purify the process of wealth, the possession of wealth. We can purify ourselves by studying the Vedas in order to understand the absolute truth, or this very book I'm reading honestly, and achieve self-realization. Okay, so when I say about the Vedas, you don't have to read the whole thing. The Vedas are not just 4 books. They were 4 branches of knowledge, and they are huge. We don't. Gosh darn it. So, as I was saying, you don't have to learn all the Vedas for moksha. You just need to learn about the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Actually, just Chaitanya Charitamrita also. And you learn it and you live by what you learn in there. Just apply it. And voila. That's it. And you chant Hare Krishna. It's not complicated, you guys. You just have to do it. And doing it is easy. There is no difficulties. The only difficulties is our mind. So kick that mind out, because we're not that mind, and that mind's crazy. And you, beautiful, powerful, eternal living entity, rise up from the sleep, from the lap of Maya, ditch that bitch, and just go back to Godhead. It is therefore stated in the Vedic literature that by birth everyone is born a Shudra. Shudra means the 4th class workers, like those that works and you just work with your hands. It also includes musicians, artists, people who do works, the trade, like blacksmith, wool workers, start like that. And Krishna Bhakti doesn't really care much about what varna you are. You can work in a garbage pile, in the open sky, car, as a garbage collector. But when you come home, you just take a bath, and then you offer your food to Krishna. You chant to Krishna, you read Krishna book, then you are considered the highest of all varnas, the highest position of life. It's easy. That's what I like about Krishna Bhakti. It's available for everyone. There is no such thing as gatekeeping girls, no matter how some tries. Okay, so everyone is born Shudra. That by accepting the purificatory process, one becomes twice born. Like me, that by studying the Vedas, one becomes a Vipra, which is the preliminary qualification for becoming a Brahmana, or just Ritishma Bhagavata. And that when one perfectly understands the absolute truth, he becomes a Brahmana. And when the Brahmana reaches further perfection, he becomes a Vaishnava, or a devotee. In Krishna's birth ceremony, all the assembled Brahmanas began to chant different kinds of Vedic mantras to invoke all good fortune for the child. They are different kinds of chanting known as Sudha, Agada, Vadija, Vandija, and Virudhavari. Along with this chanting of mantras and songs, bugles and kettle drums are sounded outside the house. On this occasion, the joyous vibration could be heard in all the pasturing grounds and all the houses. Within the outside of the houses, there were varieties of artistic paintings done with rice pulp, and scented water was sprinkled everywhere, even on the road and street. Can you imagine that? Can we bring that? Can we normalize all this, please? An actual celebration for the birth of a child in which everyone know the community know that that's my boy, that's my girl. They're just baby showers. Ceilings and roof were decorated with different kinds of flags, festoons, and green leaves. The gates were made of green leaves and flowers. All the cows, bulls, and calves were smeared with mixture of oil and turmeric and painted with mineral like red oxide, yellow clay, and manganese. They wore garlands of peacock feathers and were covered with nice colored cloths and gold necklace. God, this is true culture. Let us bring it back, okay? When all the ecstatic cowherd men heard that Nanda, the father of Krishna, was celebrating the birth ceremony of his son, they became spontaneously joyful. They dressed themselves with very costly garments and ornamented their bodies with different kinds of earrings and necklaces, and wore great turbans on their heads. After dressing themselves in this gorgeous way, they took various kinds of presentation, and thus approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. As soon as they heard that Mother Yashoda had given birth to a child, all the cowherd women became overwhelmed with joy, and they also dressed themselves with various kinds of costly garments and ornaments, and smeared scented cosmetic on their bodies. Bring it back. As the dust of the lotus flower exhibits the exquisite beauty of the flower, all the gopis, cowherd women, applied the dust of kumkum on their lotus-like face. These beautiful gopis took their different presentation, and very soon reached the house of Maharaj Nanda. Overburdened with their heavy hips and swollen breasts, the gopis could not proceed very quickly toward the house of Nanda Maharaj, but out of ecstatic love for Krishna, they proceeded as quickly as possible. Their ears were decorated with pearl rings, their necks were decorated with jeweled nuggets, their lips and eyes were decorated with different kinds of lipsticks and ointment, and their hands were decorated with nice golden bangles. By the way, a woman that wears makeup is an auspicious sign, even more so when there's actual jewelry of gold and silver. And even more auspicious is a woman or a man decorated with tilak and Dear child, you live long just to protect us. While they were blessing child Krishna in this way, they offered a mixture of turmeric powder, oil, yogurt, milk, and water. They sprinkled these mixtures not only on the body of child Krishna, but on all other persons who were present there. Also, on an auspicious occasion, there were different bands of expert musicians playing. When the cowherd men saw the pastime of the cowherd woman, they became very joyful, and in response, they also began to throw yogurt, milk, clarified butter, and water upon the bodies of the gopis. Then both parties began to throw butter on each other's bodies. Just imagine how fun that is when we can reach it. It is accessible to us. We just need to pick up the Hare Krishna map and try Krishna Bhakti, which is actually pretty easy if I can do it, or you guys can do it also. There is no difficulties, as Srila Prabhupada says. Nanda Maharaj was also very happy to see the pastimes of the cowherd men and women, and he became very liberal in giving charity to the different singers who were assembled there. Some singers were reciting great verses from the Upanishad and Puranas. Some were glorifying the family ancestors, and some were singing very sweet songs. There were also many learned brahmanas present, and Nanda Maharaj, being very satisfied on this occasion, gave them all kind of garment, ornaments, and cows in charity. It is very important to note in this connection how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavan were simply by raising cows, which, if you live in Canada, well, unfortunately, there's a milk mafia that controls all the cow and the milk. If you have cows, you cannot sell the milk by yourself. Okay, so if there's somebody out there who has political power or just the madness to destroy this milk mafia, you have my blessing, you shall succeed. Because, we need to make cows great again. All the godmen belong to the Vaishyas community, and their business was to protect the cow and cultivate the crops. By their dress and ornaments, and by their behavior, it appears that although they were in a small village, they were still rich in material possession. They possessed such an abundance of various kinds of milk product that they were drawing butter lavishly on each other's body without restriction. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products, and by trading their agricultural product, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments. Not only did they possess all these things, but he could give them away in charity lavishly, as did Nanda Maharaj. Thus, Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, began to satisfy the desire of all the men assembled here. He respectfully received them and gave them in charity whatever they desired. The learned brahmanas, who had no other source of incomes, were completely dependent on the Vaishya community for their maintenance, and they received gifts on such festive occasions as birthdays and marriage. Though this is the actual glories of the... Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so this is the glories of the true caste system. It's not just, oh, I'm a Brahmana, I'm higher than most, I don't need you, you give me what I want, or I'm Vaishya, I work, or I'm a Shudra, I'm the lowest kind. No, it's, and I'm a king, I subdue everyone. No. It's a beautiful community in which everybody uses their natural abilities and training to, live prosperously and safely, more or less. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. It would fix so much problem in this world. While Nanda Maharaj was worshipping Lord Vishnu on this occasion and was trying to satisfy all the people there, his only desire was that his newborn child, Krishna, would be happy. Nanda Maharaj had no knowledge that his child was the origin of Vishnu, was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect him. Rohini Devi, the mother of Balaram, was the most fortunate wife of Vasudeva. She was away from her husband, yet just to congratulate Maharaj Nanda on this occasion of the birth ceremony of his son, Krishna, she dressed herself very nicely, wearing a garland, a necklace, and other bodily ornaments. She appeared on the scene and moved hither and thither. According to the Vedic system, a woman whose husband is not at home does not dress herself very nicely. But although Rohini's husband was away, she still dressed herself very nicely on this occasion, because when it's for Krishna, well, it's about love, and in love there is no rule. From the opulence of the birth ceremony of Krishna, it is very clear that at the time Vrindavan was rich in every respect, because when Krishna took birth in the house of King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, the goddess of fortune was obliged to manifest her opulence in Vrindavan. It appears that Vrindavan had already become a sign for the passing of the goddess of fortune. After the birth ceremony, Nanda Maharaj decided to go to Mathura to pay the annual tax to the government of Kamsa. Yes, even at that time we were paying taxes. It's not news that was 5,000 years ago. And no, the internet is wrong. Krishna was not just born 3,000 years ago, more or less. He was under 5,000 years ago. And don't believe everything on the web. Before leaving, he called for the able guard men in the village and asked them to take care of Vrindavan in his absence. When Nanda Maharaj arrived in Mathura, he immediately went to the place when Vasudeva got the news and when Nanda Maharaj arrived in Mathura, Vasudeva got the news and was very eager to congratulate his friend. He immediately went to the place where Nanda Maharaj was staying. When Nanda saw Vasudeva, he felt that he had regained his life. Nanda, overwhelmed with joy, immediately stood up and embraced Vasudeva. Vasudeva was received very warmly and offered a nice place to sit. Anxious about his new son, who had been put under the protection of Nanda without Nanda's knowledge, Vasudeva inquired about them with great anxiety. Both Balaram and Krishna were the sons of Vasudeva. Balaram was transferred to the womb of Rohini, Vasudeva's own wife, but Rohini was kept under the protection of Nanda Maharaj. So just so you know, I learned something that even in this modern age, we were not able to do, which is late pregnancy. Well, actually, that still exists. My bad. But they usually cryonize those fetus, and then there's a big chance that it fails. And while it is doable, what it is all morality of, well, honestly, if you want my honest opinion right now, it's better if you freeze those embryo and give them a slight chance over, just killing them outright. But better yet would be to grow them yourself and raise them yourself. But not many people want that responsibility anymore. They want to be kids until the very end. Yeah. Krishna was personally delivered to Yashoda in exchange for her daughter. Nanda Maharaj knew that Balaram was the son of Vasudeva, but he did not know that Krishna was also Vasudeva's son. That's because while Rohini Devi got pregnant in Vrindavan very quickly and started showing symptoms very quickly, she could also visit her husband sometime in Mathura. Because, well, Vasudeva then addressed Nanda. My dear brother, you are old and very anxious to beget a son, and yet you had none. Okay, so Nanda Baba, Nanda Maharaj, was close to his 50s, 40, 50s, or maybe even older than that when they got Krishna, and Krishna is their only son. So Nanda Maharaj is a tall man with a belly, like a beer belly, or like well-fed belly. Nanda Baba has that. He wears green and red. His skin is the color of sandalwood pulp, and he has a beard that is salt and pepper, and very, very kind eyes. And his beard is usually very wet because he's always thinking about his son Krishna, his baby boy, and he's always crying in love for him and anxiety of love. That's Nanda Baba. That's our king, guys. Now, by the grace of the Lord, you are fortunate to have a very nice son. I think that this incident is very auspicious for you. Dear friend, I was imprisoned by Kamsa, and now I am released. Therefore, this is another bird for me. I had no hope of seeing you again, but by God's grace I can see you. So yes, Nanda and Vasudeva used to be friend and always friend. In this way, Vasudeva directly expresses anxiety about Krishna. Krishna was sent incognito to the bed of Mother Yashoda, and after Nanda very pompously celebrated Krishna's birth ceremony, he went to Mathura. So Vasudeva was very much pleased and said, this is a new bird for me. He never expected that Krishna would live, because all his other sons had been killed by Kamsa. Vasudeva continued, my dear friend, it is very difficult for us to live together. Although we have our family and relatives, sons and daughters, by nature's way, we are generally separated from one another. The reason for this is that every living entity appears on this earth under different pressures of furtive activities. Although they assemble together, there is no certainty of their remaining together for a long time. According to one's furtive activities, one has to act differently and therefore be separated. For example, many plant and creepers are floating in the wave of the ocean. Sometimes they come together and sometimes they separate forever. One plant goes one way and another plant goes another. Similarly, wait, I think I skipped a page. Similarly, our family assembly may be very nice while we are living together, but after some time, in the course of the wave of times, we are separated. The purport of this expression by Vasudeva is this. Although he had 8 sons born of the womb of Devaki, unfortunately, they were all gone. He could not even keep this one son Krishna with him. Vasudeva was feeling a separation, but he could not express the real fact. Please, tell me about the welfare of Vrindavan, he said. You have many animals. Are they happy? Are they getting sufficient grass and water? Please also tell me. Please also let me know whether the place where you are now living is undisturbed and peaceful. This inquiry was made by Vasudeva because he was very anxious about Krishna's safety. He knew that Kamsa and his followers were trying to kill Krishna by sending various kinds of demons. They had already resolved that all children born within 10 days of the birthday of Krishna should be killed. A bit like, Moses' story. They did the same thing. They pulled that same shit. They just killed all the children of the Jews. So, dear Jews, you are not alone in losing your children like that. duty of his residence. He also inquired about Balaram and his mother, Rohini, who were entrusted in the care of Nanda Maharaj. Vasudeva also reminded Nanda Maharaj that Balaram did not know his real father. He knows you as his father, and now you have another child, Krishna, and I think you are taking very nice care of both of them. It is also significant that Vasudeva inquired about the welfare of Nanda Maharaj's animals. The animals, and especially the cows, were protected exactly in the manners of one's children. Vasudeva was a Kshatriya and Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya. It is the duty of the Kshatriya to give protection to the citizens, and it is the duty of the Vaishya to give protection to the cows. The cows are as important as the citizens. You hear that? Bring this back again, please. Just as the human citizens should be given all kinds of protection, so the cows also should be given for protection. Vasudeva continued to say that the maintenance of religious principles, economic development, and a satisfactory execution of meeting the demand of the sense. Don't feel your sense too much, but don't neglect them either. Depends on the cooperation amongst relatives, nations, and all humanity. Therefore, it is everyone's duty to see that his fellow citizens and the cows are not put into difficulty. One should see to the peace and comfort of his fellow man and the animal. The development of religious principles, economic development, and sense gratification can then be achieved without difficulty. See, that's Varnashram Dharma. Follow the Varnashram Dharma. Have pleasure. Easy. You just follow your psychophysical nature. As it is a science. Vasudeva expresses his sorrow to not be able to give protection to his own sons, born of Devaki. He was thinking that religious principles, economic development, and the satisfaction of the senses were therefore all lust. Upon hearing this, Nanda Maharaj replied, My dear Vasudeva, I know that you are very much aggrieved because of the cruel King Kamsa has killed all of your sons, born of Devaki. Although the last child was a daughter, Kamsa could not kill her, and she has entered into the celestial planets. My dear friend, do not be aggrieved. We are all being controlled by your past insane activities. Everyone is subjected to his past deeds, and one who is conversant with such a philosophy of karma and its reaction is a man of knowledge. Such a person will not be aggrieved at any incident, happy or miserable. No, I'm not like that, guys. I'm really not. Vasudeva then replied, My dear Nanda, if you have already paid the government taxes, then return soon to your place, because I think that there may be some disturbance in Gokula. After the friends' daily conversation between Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva returned to his home. Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men who had come to Mathura to pay their taxes also returned home. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 5th chapter of Krishna, the meaning of Nanda and Vasudeva. Next chapter. Oh, this is where it gets real good. Chapter 6. Putana killed. Alright. Have a good night, day, morning, evening. I'll see you soon. And there'll be less cough now. Please leave a like if you want, or a sub, or whatever. Hare Krishna.